Good morning, Pioneers. My name is Connor Morrison.
And I'm Justice Cullivan. Welcome to the Grit.
Hockey was very active over our extended weekend, competing in the Pioneer Classic. They beat Perrysburg 3-1 last Friday. Unfortunately lost both their games in their doubleheader on Saturday to Dayton Stealth and Mentor, and capped the tournament with a 3-6 loss to Olentangy.
The boys will look forward to bounce-back wins this weekend as they play Dublin Jerome tonight and Watterson tomorrow, and Muller on Sunday. With all this talk about Orange hockey, it's time to hear from one of Orange's own hockey stars, Evan Wilson.
Thanks, guys. Evan, how do you feel about how the way the team is playing so far?
I think we've had our up and downs, but it's going on the upwards now.
And where do you feel that the team has improved the most throughout the season?
Just like the overall, the little things, the breakouts, the putting the puck in the back of the net.
And how do you feel about your personal performances throughout your games this season?
It's been good. I've been patting the stats, so it's good.
What are some of your longer-term goals while you're playing hockey?
I just keep moving up, play after high school.
What in a shootout, what is your go-to move?
Just put the puck in the back of the net.
Is there a certain game that you are looking forward to later this season?
Just any of the playoff games, really want to get to it.
And before you leave, what's your go-to chirp before in a game?
I'm not a big chirper. I just put the puck in the back of the net and let the skill talk.
All right. Thank you, Evan, and good luck on the rest of the season. Now, let's throw it back to the guys.
Thanks, Alex. Let's talk about this Orange hockey team for just a minute here. Obviously, we just heard from Evan, who's one of the leading goal scorers on the team.
Hold on. The leading goal scorer.
The leading.
Put some respect on
I'm sorry.
today.
That's
Yeah.
on me.
18 goals, I was told, and he's got leading the team in both points, assists, and everything. So
he's really the weapon. The offense kind of flows through him. Other players like Maverick Chauvin, Josh Lambert, they also are getting a lot of goals in these games. You see a lot of these hockey games are very high scoring, which I find fun personally. You know, a lot of hockey games as you kind of get into the professional leagues or maybe 2-0 or 2-1 something. I like these high scoring games. I like that our team can score. You know, maybe just working on, not letting some of those shots in on the Orange side.
Yeah, that's obviously a struggle on the defense and the goalkeeping. I know the goalkeeping has been with they've had some issues with injuries and stuff. So I think that's been part of the issue with letting so many goals in. But and also the defensemen have been pretty injured as well. So I think that's been a big struggle on the for having so many goals against. But obviously the offense is moving and humming and grooving. You hear Maverick Chauvin, Evan Wilson, Josh Lambert having like 2-3 goals every single game, and they're putting them in fights. They're not just losing the games. So. And I think that they have a good chance to turn around the season. We've seen it before.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of games ahead of them, so hopefully they continue to improve.
Yeah, of course.
So let's get back into our sports recap.
Girls wrestling competed at Kent State last Friday. The team beat second-ranked Ohio school Marysville 46-33 in a statement win at the Wrestle Like a Girl meet. Marysville initially jumped out to an 18-point lead, but the momentum shifted for the girls after 135-pound wrestler Chloe Tompkins pinned state placer Addie Lyon.
So obviously, this state championship team last season, obviously doing really well this season, just beat the number 2 team in Ohio. All thanks to our Juice's very own Brian Nicola leads that team, does a great job.
I don't think people really understand how good this wrestling team is. It's not just what the state champs. They are one of the best in the nation. That's just insane. They very well might be. If I'm going to say it right now. Here's my hot take of the day. They are the best school sport at this school.
Absolutely.
They dominate everything. All I ever hear is how they've been dominating everybody. They beat everybody. Even though they have, I've heard that they don't even have wrestlers in some of the weight classes, and they still win. They are insane. And I think, you got to give Mr. Nicola or Coach Nicola some credit. He has built up a dynasty, an absolute juggernaut in the girls wrestling in Ohio, but actually not just Ohio, but in the nation. They got Tompkins, as we just talked about, is looking to win the states this year. She actually transferred over from Berlin to over here, and she has dominated all season. She's having a great year. The whole team's having a great year. It's not just her. It's a collective domination of every school it's just like they're a wrecking ball, and everything in front of them is just glass, and it's just knocking
absolutely.
it all down.
They've had a lot of injuries in the past couple of seasons. I'm sure that they've got a couple this season, unfortunately. And like you talked about, maybe not filling some of the holes in all of the weight classes, but obviously they're going to make a run to be the state champion again this season, and we wish them the best of luck.
I don't think we have to.
Yep. So, girls wrestling has their doubleheader starting tonight with a dual meet against Massillon Perry, and ending tomorrow with them competing in the Fear the Spear tournament. Good luck to the girls.
Let's finish off our sports recap with boys wrestling and basketball. Boys wrestling competed in the highly competitive Maumee Bay Classic last weekend. Jacob Slack and Gavin Gaylor placed well, grabbing the 8th and 4th spots.
The Challenge is a fundraiser between Olentangy Orange and Olentangy Liberty boys basketball and girls basketball teams. All donations go towards the Natalie Gray Foundation in a competition between the two schools to raise the most money. Both teams played against each other last Friday night, with boys taking home the win, backed by 15-point performances from Devin Brown and Keegan Nutt. The girls suffered a close 59-50 loss despite Kylie Perrone's 21-point effort.
Boys basketball turned around on Saturday to play in the Flying to the Hoop tournament. The boys played again against Indiana Prep School, Bella Vista, the nation's 12th ranked basketball team according to ESPN. The boys battled against one of the nation's best, but narrowly lost 56-60.
Yeah, so this was a great game. Levi had 21 points.
Yeah,
Obviously,
he was
starting quarterback, does excellent against one of the nation's best high school basketball teams. And what do you think of this year specifically? We've kind of got some of those more out-of-state games. The boys have played a couple of really good Indiana teams. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's because of how good they were last year. I think that they lost one game of a team in Ohio, and they are still one of the best teams, Cathedral, if I remember correctly. And then obviously the number 12 ranked team, and they gave them a fight to the end. And obviously for public schools, it's very difficult to compete with some of those top because of all the rules in place. But the fact that they are competing with these teams, and not only competing, they're beating the best teams. They beat St. Ignatius. They destroyed Berlin, like 70-29, if I remember correctly. The defense, the offense is just moving and grooving. You got Levi, you got Devin. It's just weapons all over the floor. Everybody can come out and have a big game, and I think that's what's really propelled them to be able to play with these out-of-state schools, which obviously is harder competition, but I think the boys are ready for it. I think they are meeting the challenge head on, and it's been really fun to watch, getting to watch all this stuff on Instagram. They're getting posted everywhere, so it's been a really fun watch for me, just watching the teams grow from last year dominating in the state to now dominating outside the state.
Yeah, I think it's important, to add on to playing some of these out-of-state teams, to play against these out-of-state teams. It's to get some better competition, to better prepare them for the state tournament that comes up here at the end of the season. Obviously, they made a pretty good run last year. Couldn't get it done, unfortunately. They did very well. Obviously, they're going to be looking to get back there to be able to win it. So playing these out-of-state, these prep schools that are some of the best in the nation for high school, it's really important for them to get that competition in. So glad they're doing it. It's fun to see a little change there.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, to finish off our show, let's hear from two dancers here at Orange and the Juice's very own, Liliana and Grace, to hear their thoughts on the UDA Nationals from this past weekend.
Okay, guys, let's start talking about UDA Nationals, which are this past weekend. The dance Super Bowl is really exciting.
Yes.
The first category that we have is D1A Jazz. OSU brought the win and won first, with Minnesota in second and University of Michigan in third. Jazz is a very controversial category. My personal opinion, I didn't like University of Michigan that much, so I just been thinking about the top two. OSU and Minnesota always battle it out for the top two spots. Minnesota kept that consistency all weekend. Their dance was really good, but I think they kind of copied what OSU did last year, as well as everyone else. They kind of just had that lyrical, slower song to it. While OSU, even though they didn't hit their turns in prelims and in semis, they brought it out in the finals, and I think they deserved the win.
I completely agree with you. One of my really good friends is on Minnesota's team, and I was hyping her up all weekend. But I think OSU this year came with something out of the box like they did last year. And this year, everyone not copied, but went in with a similar style as OSU did last year. And OSU stepped outside of their box and did something really different. So when they hit their turns in finals, I think they deserve the win. Okay, for D1A Palm, Minnesota took the win. OSU got second, and Tennessee got third. I agree, Minnesota's was very clean. I thought Minnesota and OSU really battled. I loved OSU's little slide thing. It was very cool to watch. But yes, I think Minnesota deserved the win. They were very clean all weekend.
I agree. There was a point, like, I think Saturday when I was watching semis where I was like, OSU is so good. They had little nunchuck palms and swinging them around. It's really cool. They brought something different, but I think Minnesota just brought the cleanliness, and it really just looked the best.
And they're 540 into an aerial. Insane.
That's insane to do.
Yes.
Okay, now going to D1A hip hop. Hip hop, I'm not very the most familiar with, but UNLV took the first spot with San Diego State in second and Central Florida in third. I really liked all of these dances. LSU is usually in our top 3. This year, all of these schools beat them out, which I think is pretty deserved. UNLV's was pretty crazy. They were really clean, and I really enjoyed Central Florida probably the most.
I agree.
They were really good.
Yeah, Central Florida's was an all-girl team, and they just came out with so much power and were really strong. UNLV they're like half guys, half girls, and they throw their bodies around and do these crazy tricks. I personally think LSU should have at least been in top 5. They were in top 6.
Yeah.
But the umbrellas, you take the risk when you use a prop, so.
Yeah, you did.
Unfortunately. Okay, that's all for us. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Liliana and Grace. That's all for our show this week. We'll see you next Friday right here on The Grit. I'm Connor Morrison.
And I'm Justice Kelvin. Make sure to support your Nears in action this week. And as always, roll Nears.